Most people trust their thoughts without question. If a thought appears in their mind, they assume it must be true. But what if that assumption is the very thing holding you back? What if your mind is not always telling you the truth? What if the voice in your head that says, "You're not good enough, you can't do this," or "You'll fail," is not reality, but a pattern you've unknowingly trained? Your mind is powerful, but it is not perfect. It is designed to protect you, not to help you grow. It wants safety, comfort, and predictability. That means it will often exaggerate risks, magnify fears, and keep you inside your comfort zone. It will tell you to stay where it feels familiar, even if that place is limiting your potential. Think about how many times you've wanted to do something meaningful, but your mind immediately filled with doubt. You wanted to start a project, but your thoughts said, "What if you fail?" You wanted to speak up, but your mind said, "What if people judge you?" You wanted to take a step forward, but your mind pulled you backward. That is not truth. That is conditioning. Your thoughts are shaped by past experiences, fears, and repeated patterns. If you've failed before, your mind tries to protect you from failing again by creating hesitation. If you've been judged before, your mind tries to protect you from judgment by making you stay quiet. But in trying to protect you, your mind can also limit you. This is where the real shift begins. You must stop believing every thought you think. Just because you think something does not make it true. Thoughts are not facts. Thoughts are suggestions. And you have the power to question them. When your mind says, "You can't do this," ask yourself, "Is that actually true, or is that fear speaking?" When your mind says, "You're not ready," ask, "Will I ever feel ready, or do I become ready by taking action?" When your mind tells you to quit, ask, "What would happen if I kept going?" This simple act of questioning your thoughts breaks their control over you. It creates space between you and the voice in your head. And in that space, you regain your power. Taking control of your mind does not mean eliminating negative thoughts. That's impossible. Even the most successful people have doubts. The difference is they don't obey those doubts. Control is not about silence. Control is about choice. You can choose which thoughts to act on. You can choose which thoughts to ignore. You can choose to act based on your goals instead of your fears. This is where discipline and awareness come together. Awareness allows you to notice your thoughts. Discipline allows you to act despite them. Imagine your mind as a narrator, constantly commenting on everything you do. Sometimes that narrator is helpful, but often it is biased, fearful, and overly cautious. If you blindly follow that narrator, you will stay stuck. But if you step back and observe it, you begin to realize something powerful. You are not your thoughts. You are the one observing your thoughts. That realization changes everything. Because if you are not your thoughts, then you are not controlled by them. You can experience doubt without becoming doubt. You can feel fear without becoming fear. This is how you take control. You stop identifying with every negative thought and start focusing on intentional action. You stop waiting for your mind to become positive and start moving forward anyway. Action is the most powerful way to break mental patterns. When your mind says, "You can't," and you act anyway, you prove it wrong. When your mind says, "You'll fail," and you keep going, you weaken that belief. Over time, your actions begin to reshape your thinking. Confidence is not built by thinking positive thoughts. Confidence is built by taking action despite negative thoughts. Every time you act in the face of doubt, you build evidence that you are capable. And that evidence slowly replaces the false narratives your mind has been feeding you. Another important truth is that your environment and habits influence your thinking. If you constantly surround yourself with negativity, your thoughts will reflect that. If you fill your time with distractions, your mind will become scattered. But if you intentionally build habits that support clarity, focus, and growth, your thinking begins to change. Reading, learning, exercising, and reflecting are not just activities. They are tools that shape your mental state. You train your body through repetition. You train your mind the same way. The more you practice awareness, the easier it becomes to recognize unhelpful thoughts. The more you practice discipline, the easier it becomes to act despite them. Over time, you develop mental strength. You become less reactive. You become more focused. You become more in control. And once you take control of your mind, you take control of your life. Because everything begins in the mind. Your actions come from your thoughts. Your habits come from your actions. Your results come from your habits. If you change how you respond to your thoughts, you change everything that follows. You begin to take risks you once avoided. You begin to pursue goals you once feared. You begin to show up consistently instead of waiting for the perfect moment. You stop being controlled by doubt and start being guided by purpose. This is not about becoming fearless. It is about becoming stronger than your fear. It is about recognizing that your mind will always try to keep you safe, but you must decide when it's time to grow. Your mind may lie to you, but you don't have to believe it. You can choose action over hesitation. You can choose discipline over comfort. You can choose growth over fear. And the more you make those choices, the more your mind begins to adapt. The voice that once held you back becomes quieter. The confidence that once felt impossible becomes natural. You don't eliminate fear. You outgrow it. And it all begins with a simple decision. A decision to stop believing everything your mind tells you and start taking control of your actions. Because your future is not determined by your thoughts alone. It is determined by what you do despite those thoughts. So the next time your mind tells you that you can't, remember this. That voice is not your limit. It is your challenge. And you have the power to overcome it. If this message opened your eyes and gave you a new perspective, then take a moment to support the channel. Like this video so more people can break free from limiting thoughts. Subscribe so you can continue strengthening your mindset and growing every day. And turn on notifications so you never miss the next video that could help you take control of your life. Your mind doesn't control you. You control your mind.